Hi, I'm Stella and I'm the creator of Alana the Web3 Girl. Join me for a 3-part series on how storytelling in Web3 matters. Let's create an avatar and their entire story from scratch. I will guide you through various programs like DAS, Marvelous Designer, Blender and Substance Designer as we create a virtual personality together. All 3 sessions will be 90 minutes long and of course they will be recorded. Part 1 of the series will be on Thursday, May 26th. Come ready to share your input. Together we will be creating a mood board and write up a background story for our avatar. Then we will go into DAS and start creating from a Genesis female base. We will incorporate add-ons to shape the body and look at different possibilities to add hair. Part 2 of the series will be streamed on Wednesday, June 1st. We will start with the mood board we assembled in part 1 and add more images and a color concept to it. We will then go back into DAS where we created our avatar and we will animate a pose specifically for our avatar. Next we will export our avatar to Marvelous Designer where we will design the garment according to the mood board and apply some basic textures to it. Part 3 of this series will be streamed on Wednesday, June 15th. In this part, we will mostly focus on rendering and achieving the best final results. We will go into Substance Designer to create a custom texture and bake all of our textures in at least 4K in Marvelous Designer. We will then export our avatar to Blender, as well as the clothing, and set up a turntable with lighting, learn how to adjust settings, and output a turntable animation. Hey guys, welcome back. So, this is part 2.2. So everything we couldn't get done in last time's session, I'm gonna try and do in this recorded kind of session. Quick recap: we designed the avatar, right? She's done. She's existing at least. We have put together this really great board which contains like all the information that we need. We have a great mood board we can use for references. We have her storyline. We have all of that, all of our resources in one place. So now it's time to dive into the clothing part. And I don't know how many of you remember, but last time I exported her essentially with a really classic setting. So I said, we can actually delete this one. I said, yes, let's name it like this, and selected, not necessary, because essentially everything is selected here. Figures, locks, limits, morphs, embed textures, collect textures to a separate folder just in case, allow degraded skinning, allow degraded scaling, sub-D information, and FBX 2012 binary. And we said accept. So while this is loading, I'm gonna go to this file and we're gonna actually delete this avatar from here, because last time when we tried to import her, what it did is it said invalid path, or I don't know, it gave us a really weird error, right? So now it doesn't anymore, which is the important part. So it's gonna load in just like that, and it's gonna be fine, right? And then also just making sure here, we're gonna go to the X-ray joins. We're gonna, oh, that's still a thing, so that's not so good. Then, okay, so we tried to import her, right? And it gave us this weird error that wouldn't allow us to import. There was one part. And then the other part was we had to deal with this like double body kind of thing, which was super weird. So I figured out both parts that essentially went wrong. So one part is the armband tattoos. They kind of produce like a second mesh for some reason, which is kind of weird. But it seems to be a thing, and it was nothing that I could correct. So instead I deleted them, right? So deleted those files because they are not necessary. So that was one part. The other part was that I had a path naming that was invalid. And so if I go to Fabricant, so the original folders that I had set up didn't look like this. The original one looked like this, where I essentially had written part, degree 1, avatar, for example. And so Marvelous Designer doesn't allow any kind of path imports that have this kind of special signs in it. So really weird, but yeah, it's a thing. So we figured that out. As you can see, she's in here now. We can actually adjust her joins as we please, which is obviously super helpful in some instances. For example, when we're trying to just find a position that's like a little bit more convenient in the sense of mocking up like a garment design, for example, right? So yeah, I think something like this should work fine for us. Don't need to overdo it, obviously. And now we can hide the grid, go to front view, and do our, actually we could also erase the shadow and then take some screenshots of like the front position. At least I would say let's just go with the front. Honestly, usually I'm doing well with just doing the front part, and then as I start designing in Marvelous Design, I come up with the rest. Obviously, you're absolutely free to do this the way you want. So if you want to go on your number pad to number 6 and just take some more screenshots of like the side view, right? So let's do that. Side, and then obviously number 8 on the numpad is the back side. I'm kind of doubting if this is a, I think we should zoom out of this one a little bit, yeah, like so. And then we can assemble this kind of template in Photoshop and use it to start collaging, mock-upping a design. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. So I will leave this open just like this. I'm gonna save the file just in case nothing much happens, so it's not really a lot of necessity for saving, but you never know. So yeah, because you never know. Alrighty, so yeah, I had this set up. I don't quite like it, so we're gonna get rid of it, and we're gonna drag and drop in the new screenshots that we have, because they definitely work so much better. It's like 1, 2, and 3, right? And so it's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, it's actually quite alright. Maybe we can do this one like this, and this one can actually be a little bit smaller. I would think something like this, and then I'm gonna condense all of this a little bit down until we're happy. Yeah, So now we have something we can, oh, actually, oh, sorry. So I have this little template, I have her shape and figure, all good and nice. And I did actually download all the, or not all the images, but a lot of the images from our mood board that carry actually a lot of detail, right? So as you can tell here, I downloaded quite a good amount, and actually I install for you guys my new Marvelous Designer version. So point is, I'm gonna cut those, I'm gonna put them into my resource folder, and we're gonna use them, or parts, actually just part of it, right? Just as you can see, I downloaded all those different images, and now we're essentially like you would do a collage in real life, right? I'm just gonna take cut pieces out of it, and we'll try to find like new positions and new shapes and new silhouettes with them. Afterwards, we're going to go over texturing, but the real texturing part I will actually do with you in the next session, because I think it's really a good idea to get you guys into Substance Designer. I think it's super necessary. And yeah, I will record as much as I possibly can of that process, and or actually I will record everything. And yeah, we see each other once this is done. See you on the other side. Okay, so I've done a lot of collaging. I'm not done. You've seen a little bit of the process. Also, in the process of doing the collage, I had some additional ideas when it comes to the texturing part. So let me quickly call up the our board again, right? And under inspiration for textures, essentially. So in Milanote, if you have an absolutely empty board, it gives you the option of using one of the templates. So you can go into mood board and say fashion mood board or graphic design mood board. I don't even know what the differences are, to be fairly honest with you guys. But yeah, you can, set up those kind of mood boards, and I think they're super helpful. And I think I really like this one because those slides are very neat, I think. So yeah, why not go with this one? Or you can say even keep example content, use this template. And then we can start working on texturing. So I'm just gonna say texture inspiration. And I'm turning this into a headline. Alrighty, and then maybe something like this. Okay, this is now set to RGB. I really like hex values, so I'm gonna change this to hex values. Hex values just translate very well when it comes to everything digital, I feel. If you guys have other opinions, please feel free to share. The second part that we should do is open up probably like a Pinterest window, and let's get some ideas for textures. So something that I really liked in the process was like doing this opal texture, and this is also an idea we put into the original mood board, saying that her body might even be opalized in a sense. So let's just look for some really cool opal textures or opalic. Oh my god, all of this is so beautiful. I love beautiful stuff. In case you haven't like you don't already you didn't know this. You didn't know this. Sorry. I really like this one. You can even like this. Oh, I really like this. That's very nice. Also, ooh, this is so pretty. This is also very pretty. I really like this crystallized effect. Maybe we can get something even better. This is looking really nice, I feel. Very like uneven and organic in a way. So I can imagine that to work well. This also seems very nice. I think we're looking for something that's, even this one is really pretty. I think we're looking for something that is not crystallized all over, but rather has like these points of crystals. So she should still have like a real skin. But aside from the real skin, there will be also opalized crystals on top of that. And there's like multiple ways on how we can do that. We could do that with 3D geometry, or we can solve that with texturing. And maybe we should try and do both, just for the sake of having tried and tested and kind of figuring out what's the best way to go about it. So yeah, I really like these like crystallizations. They look really nice. So pretty. Just like these birds who collect shiny stuff. This is how I feel most of the time. I could just go on and on about this. Oh man, this is a nice format. Nice crystal geometry, I would even say. This is a really nice one. I like this even better than this one. Also, let's kill that. No need for a caption. Oh, look at this. Yeah, I feel this is already too much in a sense. This looks very nice. Yeah. Yeah, let's get some ideas in here. This is damn pretty. Okay. Maybe let's go back to the idea of the opal and go more in opal texture, so we can get like more of a close-up. Yeah, something like this. This one is actually the one I think I used for making the mock-up and the graphic, so I definitely like this one. It's very pretty. Also think this one is a great one. It's a little bit more milky. Doesn't hurt to have that in here, I feel. And then the other part, oh, this one is also pretty cool. Actually, this is also pretty cool. But I don't want it to be something that it's like an application, but I also really like this one and this one. Those are organic examples. Also these ones. There's a macro of a butterfly wing. It's very, very, very pretty. And we could totally do this. But I honestly, maybe it's too detailed, but we're gonna put it in anyways. Oops. Sorry. So, this. Like this. That. Also, this one is a very nice organic-y shape. Just putting this in. Okay, I think we're good on that front. I looked a little bit at chainmail. I think this is how you spell it. So I think we look for that. I really like this one actually. So why I probably had this idea of the chainmail as maybe a texture we could use, but maybe we don't, is literally because of the symbol I came up spontaneously with. So I don't know if you guys can see this well, but I think the symbol is gonna be hers. And I don't know, it somehow reminded me of chainmail, and then I started putting this over the actual skin. But maybe actually that's a bad idea. I think this should be on top of it, not necessarily the other stuff. So I think I will do some more of the layouting here. And then we will get down to breaking up the textures and actually figuring out what kind of texture we should do. But I think I really like the idea of doing something that looks opalized. I think it will fit very well and it will look really nice. So I think that's what we're going to go with for sure. The only question is probably to what extent or in combination of what. I think those are the main questions right now. And also gonna make this smaller, a little bit more enclosed. I think I really like this one. I think it's very nice and very organic. Looks less animal than this one. Also like this. I think we could use something like this for those rings. I think that's a nice idea. I really like this, but it looks almost too dark. But maybe I can make it look different. I don't know. It's a very organic process, I feel, at this point. Yeah, okay. Let me oh, my speakers turned themselves off. Let me try and figure out how we can make this work. But I think yeah, I will add a little bit of a text to this, like a tiny, this kind of like a description of the thought process, I think. And yeah, and then we should be good to go and build out a little bit more this drawing for sure, and afterwards obviously start designing the raw garment. Yeah, and go into texturing. I think that sounds like a plan. So I will go back into speeding stuff up because it's a lot of stuff that is not as exciting as discussing some details. Okay, see you later. So I finally finished the texturing board and clothing board. I put some text together to just, lay out my thought process and why I chose certain things and why I didn't. I thought this was just cute. I really liked the graphics, so I adapted it to Alana. That was really inspirational. Also, with us launching a new project soon, I thought it would be really fun to give those cats a little bit of a crystallized bag, and the headphones that I originally made for Candid X11. But yeah, this is honestly just me playing around, so don't mind it too much. The actual texture ideas are all on this board, I believe. I left out purposefully the chainmail, even though we might take inspiration from that. But I didn't find really an image that was too inspiring, so I left it out. I have it here in the text, meaning we will create an opal texture. We will look at some existing chainmail textures from the Substance Designer library to see how it is built, and then get inspired on how to build our own, or even use the base and replace the initial shapes in it. Lastly, maybe we should actually do a crystal texture. I also have a crystal texture already that we could adapt. So that's a thing. But I think what I really want to show you guys is how can you take any kind of 2D graphic and turn it into a texture in Substance Designer. I think that's going to be super helpful. And it is also something you can actually do fairly fast if you're not too perfectionizing with stuff. Like I can get obsessed, so hopefully you don't. It will save you a lot of time. And those are the two mock-ups, one for Candid X11 and one for SheF1.eth. As we discussed previously, we wanted her to be more as a vigilante or maybe superhero to be. We are not sure yet. We wanted her to be more armored up. So I tried to obviously do that here. She also has these like spinning orbs, which could be nice. Her original shape is much more close to Alana's overarching idea of everyone on Alter Agri wearing an Alter Agri suit. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to be visually all the same, but yes, it is gonna be a silhouette that is quite close to the body. So not a lot of playful. I did, you can see in the recording, I did some playing around with silhouettes, but it just didn't feel right considering that that's not really the story. So I hope you will not hold that against me. But you guys can obviously be as creative with silhouettes and shapes as you want and as you see fit for your avatar. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Just saying, all of these shapes, they should actually be included in the suit. So I will probably do cutouts and then model on top of it in Blender. But I'm not 100% sure yet. I think all of this is a very organic process. Also for me, the first time to do this in such an open manner. But I think we're doing great so far, so we keep it going. And yes, so I also added for today's, actually I added for also for last time session, I added a tutorial and the resource files for a manual installation of the avatar DAS to Blender Bridge. So you might want to check out the video specifically, and if you have had trouble installing the DAS to Blender Bridge within the Central or within the install manager of DAS Studio, then you might want to take this approach. It's actually fairly simple, just, you know, it's complicated the first time you do it. So don't be afraid, just check it out. It's going to be super helpful and easy for those of you who have had not much success installing the bridge. Honestly, it happened to me last week. So I was like, okay, let's find a way for everyone to do this and to use the bridge, because the bridge makes your life just so much easier and imports the textures the way you want them to be imported. So yeah, having said all of that, I'm looking forward to us having our next session soon, actually very soon, in half an hour. I will waste a little bit of time now to get the suit on her, just so we have some initial shapes and we can actually try out some textures and stuff once we have created them in Substance Designer. See you on the other side, guys. Transhumanism.